Hello everybody, ciao a tutti and welcome to Art with Ms.B. I just noticed watching my previous video that I'm wearing the same sweater. I swear you that I wash every day and I change it daily. It's just like a coincidence, so it's okay. I own more than one sweater. I just want to make sure that you know that. So last time my video about practice like with the colored pencil and oil pastels was very successful, so I want to thank you all of my viewer. And today we're going to do the second part of the same practice, because as I told during the last video, the idea was to have 3 or 4 similar subject and similar like composition to create a bigger poster, or maybe to match them, compare, contrast them. So today we're going to do together something that is going to look like this. So once again, we're going to use a mixed media paper, a pencil for drawing, colored pencil, oil pastel, and a tool for scratching. If you do also some clay, you will have probably a scratching tools, but you can use a toothpick or even a sharp pencil. If you're using colored pencil, I suggest you to have a sharpener available for you. If you don't like, or if you don't have colored pencil or oil pastel, so you can use crayons and markers, so you will see still a beautiful difference between the two media. The result is going to be a little different because of course you won't have the same thick richness of the oil pastel, so mostly the scratching is not going to give you the same result. I would say that if you're coloring just with pencil or with marker, don't do the scratching at all. But if you're using, like I do, oil pastels and colored pencil, you can do also some nice pattern at the end and have some fun scratching out the surface from the oil pastel. So I'm gonna switch the camera. Everything will be included in the description box. Please, I noticed that many people are watching my video, which makes me very happy. Remember to like them also if you do so, and remember to subscribe. It's gonna take you a click and it doesn't cost you anything, so you will help my channel to grow. And I'm going to get myself ready, and I hope that you will do the same so we can practice together.
Okay friends, here we are with our material. This is the little beautiful colorful piece that we created last time. I have the same type of paper, same size. I have my pencil for drawing, colored pencil here. I have a sharpener nearby. If you're using colored pencil, I highly encourage to do so. Here I have my pastels box all ready to go, and then we're gonna move this aside, and then we're gonna kind of get it back, just because we are creating a composition. That doesn't mean that you can just do only one project. You can do both, you can do you, but I will kind of explore this theme of beautiful colorful mug and technique with oil pastels and then colored pencil. So let's start to design. We want to have something, let me think. So let me take this one, this shape over here. So we're gonna start, remember, with the ellipse, which is like that geometrical shape. If you're a young artist or the beginner, think about a very long oval. Okay, this shape will allow you to create something with the idea of depth, so idea of three-dimensionality. And then we want to do something maybe very different to what we did last time. So probably I will give my mug a very different shape, and I'm inspired by one that I have that an artist in North Carolina, a pottery artist, made, and I bought probably 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and he has been with me in North Carolina as well as in New York as well in Utah. So I'm very affectionate to that mug. If you have a special mug, if you want to place it in front of you and just copy that model, go for it. Okay, remember that we are not focusing on the perfection of the perspective, the perfection of the ellipse of the shape, but we are doing something that is just like a design, right? Because we are focusing on the technique of the pastels and the technique of the pencil. So this time I will do it this way, just to add the handler set. And when you see that your shape is done, you can copy mine, you can do yours. We're gonna divide floor from the wall, more or less the same, but not identical than the first one. And this time the shadow probably will go this way, so we're gonna have the lights coming from this side. So I'm gonna move this that we did last time together aside, and we can start. I'm gonna create a pattern on the back, and you can do the same pattern that I do, or you can do something different. You can do diagonal lines like we did last time, I will actually do vertical first and then horizontal. If you want to use a ruler because you're very picky with your pattern and you want something perfectly geometric, go for it. Otherwise, you can do it freehand like I do. Okay, let's slide this up a little bit. Maybe that is a little too much. Let's okay. I told you today the lights is not perfect, but I want to embrace this day and this season as it comes. And you know that I told several times, mostly at the beginning of my journey with this YouTube video and the direction that I want to give it. I told that it's not going to be the perfect resolution, the most technological channel, but I want it to be very authentic, very genuine, very mean, with all the imperfection that we are going to embrace, right? Because I like to embrace imperfections, and art is a very, very good way to exercise this skill. So this time, I think that I'm gonna go with a violet and a peach color, but once again, you do you. Use the favorite palette, use a palette that you never used before. Try to make some experiment. Just have fun with the colors. Try to, if you need to use your color wheels, the one that we created together many videos ago, go and grab the color wheels and maybe think about complementary color, opposite on the color wheel, analogous colors. So make your choice. If you're a warm color person or a cold color person, listen to yourself. Remember that, for example, practicing in a day so cold and gray and rainy outside, or during this cold season, it's beautiful, because I know that for many people who struggle with seasonal depression, it might be a challenge. And I think that through a beautiful art practice, so some time that you dedicate just to have fun and explore techniques and colors, you can actually embrace the season and find some beauty in it. Mostly because this project that we are doing are clearly inspired by the cold season, the winter, when you drink a lot of tea and herbal tea, hot cocoa. I love to have a herbal tea after dinner. It makes me, digest better. It keeps me warm. My son is a big fan of hot cocoa, so with a little bit of Trader Joe's marshmallows and some whipped cream, he's a kid. It's beautiful. So when I think about mug, I think about something that has always been part of my life, my kids' life. We have our own collections. I have a couple about Charlie Brown, the peanuts, because I'm a big fan, and so I really feel joy when I use them to drink my tea or my coffee in the morning. I have other, as I told you, the special one like this one that I bought years ago in North Carolina from a potter, a very, very good potter who lives and works in North Carolina, and it's beautiful. Every time that I use that, I think about him, his art, his beautiful studio. So, mug are personal object that we are including in this practice. So, once again, you do you. If you have a special, different shapes, go for it, because the artwork must be meaningful to you. Now, if you want to go slower, or if you want to watch my video a little faster, and then you can practice at your own pace, at your own rhythm, and maybe when you drink a very nice herbal tea or coffee or cocoa, whatever you like to drink, just be careful and don't spill it on the paper, mostly after you're you're almost done. That would be very unfortunate, but just find yourself, dedicate this time to you. And if you're a young student, a child who is learning to practice art, who is learning about lines, think about how many lines did we use to create this piece. Some lines are geometric lines, and some other were more like an organic, right? Think about what patterns are, and this illusion of movement, and this beautiful new dimension that they give you to the piece that you are to the piece that you are creating, right? With pattern, we give illusion of movement. We can really play and explore color palette. And think about also how can you color with color a pencil, how in a way that it's really proficient, so you don't leave any gaps. You see some like of the scratch of the strokes of the pencil, right? And what is the difference that you notice, for example, in coloring with the coloring pencil and the crayons, for example, or even more, markers? And as I say at the beginning during the introduction, if you don't have or you don't want to use color pencil and pastels, if you have markers and crayons, you can do the same. You can decide that if you want to do the background with the markers, or if you want to do the background with the crayons and then the mat with the markers. Of course, if you do not use oil pastels, you won't be able to do the scratch. So at the end, when I will scratch on top of my mug, don't do the same unless you have oil pastels, because otherwise you're gonna break your paper, or just the worst, like nothing will basically happen, because crayons do not have the same texture, and so they won't give you the same rich thickness that the oil pastels will give you, and markers even less, right? But it's still gonna be a beautiful practice where you can compare to different media, and the way that you have to move your hands and use your fine motor skills to operate with those media. If you are an adult and you're just taking a moment to do some art with me, just like let everything else go. Our life is very, very busy, and sometimes, it can be a little stressful, but we need to find a moment just for us when we do something that we enjoy, and there is no other reason than just enjoying it, basically. So we are not doing it for a specific goal. Of course, we are exercising our artistic skill, but we are just doing it also for pleasure and see what happens and have some fun. You can play your favorite music while you watch my hands. If you don't like to hear my voice, you can just put it mute. Outlining the shaping before coloring inside is very useful, mostly if you are a beginner or a young artist, because you will already know where to color. You can also do this because in a pattern, if you're not focused, it's easy for you to kind of make mistakes and color with the same color two shapes that are next to each other instead to alternate it. So you can outline the square, and you can just do a little like a mark, so you know where you want to use that specific color and when instead you need to switch. And if an accident happens, as I always say to my students, it's totally fine, and the pattern is going to be beautiful the same, and you will embrace that little imperfections as we need to embrace imperfections in life. And I really don't want to sharpen the color, but I think that I might have to. Let's see if I can make it all the way without sharpening. Let's see. So I can sharpen them at the end of the practice and I have them all ready for another practice. Half. I have one last, let's see. And of course here I'm not playing really with value, so I'm not spending too much time in shading better the tiles, we are just doing a plain color because we are focusing mostly on the pattern and the color palette, and I want to actually go to the oil pastels. But in case you want to do like a very, very well done job. You can choose a darker shade of the violet, or with the same violet you can actually go like over and make maybe the corner a little darker than the center. If you can spend a little extra time, please do so, so you can do some more advanced shading. In the future I might do, or I was about to, in the future I might do like a practice just with the pencil, but showing the value, which we'll learn together in one of my first videos. So you should know what value is and the way that we can give value through a pencil or colored pencil, and in general even when we paint with watercolors and other media, right? It's like the way that the light is filter our piece, so lighter and darker, and all the interest and the depth that you can add thanks to the element of value. So now we are just doing a plain type of color, a more sort of a more pop art design, let's call it that way. So we are not focusing in the shading, but we are just coloring inside our pattern, inside these tiny tiles that we created. But let's say that you would like to do a more advanced type of work, considering that the light comes from this side could be lighter, and then here you can do darker, mostly here as a reflection of the shadow. So you can go over with a darker pencil or with the same color pencil, just going over and make it look like a darker. So adding the shadow. If you need to take a break because your hands hurts, take a break. And actually just the sounds of the pencils on the paper, it's very relaxing, mesmerizing somehow. And the view of filling tiles after tiles, so completing a pattern, it's very therapeutic, a little bit of a mindful moment that we allow ourselves. see if I can make it with this one as well without sharpening the pencil. And look, I forgot one purple spot, so I'm gonna fix that. Let's get the other one again, back to our violet for our last. Yeah. And now I think that I would like to link this one to this one with this green. So my mug this time will feature some type of green, and then I'm gonna think about something for the table, maybe reddish type of palette to bring it down. So we have a couple of like crisscrossing links and the pattern that is similar but still different. So I'm gonna go with my pastels, and finally pastels are so soft that I have to barely touch the paper. With pastel we don't really care about the perfection of the outlines. Actually, on the contrary, we really embrace the beautiful imperfection that they give us. Remember that you have different way that you can blend pastels together. Many people use fingers to blend them. I personally love oil pastels, but I don't like to touch them and blend them with my fingers. So what I do, I just blend them, you know, with the color, and just blend the stick themselves. So remember, if you want to do like I do, you need to make sure that you don't press too much with the pastel, and you don't put like too much color, because otherwise your coat of pastels will be very thick, and it's gonna be very difficult for you to show other colors once you start to create your different layers. So just one layer, even lighter when you want the mug to be lighter, and for me it's this size today. For you can be the opposite. Then I'm gonna play around with different greens, right? So and I start to build my second coat. And setting the second layer, I started to kind of blend these two greens together, as you can see. Add the texture and light up a part of the mug. Even lighter on this side. And on the opposite here and here. And I really love the feeling of overlapping the pastel, using the pastel without using my finger, but then I don't really like the feeling of shading. Isn't it crazy? I do love pastel, but I don't want to mess my hands too much. I'm gonna go again a little more here. I want it darker. I want to cover all the gaps. I don't want to see the paper underneath anymore. And I'm gonna blend my darkest green on top of the lightest again. And then again, you can do strokes And remember that it's totally fine if you go out of the line. I think that I will put this inside some nice light orange. So last time we did some hot cocoa, so we used the brown, and now I pretend that I'm drinking one of my herbal teas. So I'm gonna have a little bit of orange in here, and then see if I have a very light yellow. There you go. It's the final touch over here. And keep working on your mug as much as you want and as much as you think is necessary. And then I am going to start to do the table. Once again, remember, if you're shading using the pastels directly on the paper, one on top of each other, make sure that your first coat is not too much, because if you create, and this is a tendency that some of my youngest students in school who are learning how to use pastels, sometimes they do the mistakes in creating a coat that is so thick that is very difficult then to blend with other colors. So even if you color on top with other colors, they won't really show. And so you are really committed. You have to commit to the first color that you use, and you might don't want to. So the secret is just to set the first colors, the one that is gonna represent the mid, like not the darkest, not the lightest, maybe the middle one. Just don't do it, don't overdo it. Color the area, and then you play on top with several layers of many different colors of the same family, lighter and darker. Like if you're playing like me with oranges, you can use lighter orange or red, yellow. So we're gonna play, and we're gonna play on top, just because I'm not putting too much, and I'm still giving myself the opportunity to you know, go over with something different. There you go. So this one we're gonna go over from this side. That is going to be, I would like it to be darker, because I say, and I decided that my light is coming from this side today. So I'm going over. You can do like this, or strokes, as I'm doing right now. Strokes like that we call like a stapling. It's very fun. Very fulfilling. Gonna go probably even darker. Yes, love it. Go back to my orange. Second coat. I'm gonna switch with lighter one. Oh no, that's this one. Sorry. Nice thick coat. Switch directions of the strokes, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna go all the way up. what I love about pastels is that they get messy and they get spoiled by overlapping them with other color, which is something that I really, really, really like. Now with this one that is lighter, I'm gonna go here because I want this side to be lighter. Don't worry if you go over the background a little bit, it's gonna be very nice. As we say, we embrace the imperfection. A little bit of light here to contrast the cast shadow in here. Love it, love it, love it. Go very well around the edge of the paper. Let's go back with final time, a little bit of red. So we're going to reshape a little bit our shadow. There we go. Now, I know that I like to do this white, like the smoke, of course, because our tea has to be hot. And you see, if the pastel gets spoiled a little bit, the white with the green, it's beautiful. Just, it's really beautiful. You can have as much smoke as you want. Remember that you don't have to copy me. Relax and release yourself and embrace the practice. Now, if you want to use the black, as I say, you don't have to. I said it last time, you don't have to. But if you want, you can do like with the black, super gently. You need to control it a lot because, as you know, black is the darkest colors. There is nothing that can cover. So if you overdo it, you can always try and fix it, but it's gonna be, not an easy thing. So if you can or you cannot, you do you. Once again, I'm pretending that I want to basically outline the piece that I created, but not, not doing a very thick black outline, just like doing a little bit, mostly on the darker side of my mug, because this is what I want to see, the darkest colors and the darkest. I'm going to really maybe just do like that, and again with the red, because as I say, I don't want to do something that like a black shadow. And then with the green, just go over a little bit. And when you think that you're happy with your mug, you can stop, and we can do as we did last time. You see this nice texture that we create. We're gonna try to do the same with the scratching tools. If you don't have a scratching tools, a toothpick, perfect, or a very sharp pencil. Maybe a few touches with the white over here. That's it. And let's scratch. This time I want to give it a little pattern, so I will do some zigzag. And then you can clean it on a piece of paper that you keep it on the side. Let's see if I can have a close up. That might be too much. There we go. Let's see if it's refocusing. Let's keep going. And clean. If you're doing the scratching, let's see if we can refocus it better. There you go. Please, please, please. I hate this. Let's see. A little better, but not that much. I'm gonna go as close as possible, guys. And we're done. Let's put it back so we can see too, both of them. And let's take this up. You see there is a nice texture. There you go. It's very pretty. Now I'm gonna switch the camera so we can say a very quick goodbye, and I apologize for some technical difficulty, and I have my hands all messy with the oil pastel, so it's not been easy, but it's been extremely fun, and thank you for bearing with me, bear with this technology issues with me.
Okay, guys, thank you for doing the practice with me. We did it. My hands are extremely messy, and probably if you use oil pastels, your hands are messy too. I want to apologize for some technical difficulty when I wanted to focus and zoom in and out, and I was touching everything with my spoiled hand and I was making a little mess. But as I say, this is life and this is happen, and I want this channel to be as genuine and as spontaneous as possible. You got the concept anyway, you got the idea behind the practice, you got the inspiration that you needed. So even if the video is not perfect, you can do your practice on your paper. Let's start to see a little collection coming up, because I would like to do 4 and maybe create a beautiful poster with those 4 or frame them, because they're really pretty. Now, as I told you in the practice, I don't want to make a video, they are too long, but if you want to spend a little more time shading the pencil, if you know a little bit more about value and you are more like an intermediate, advanced, or adult artist, remember where the light is coming in your piece, and you can have lighter side of the wall behind and then darker, so you can use the darker tones of the same family of color that you decided to use for your background, or maybe shade with a gray and add some value in that way. And I really like, I don't know which is my favorite now, because I love both the shapes and the color, the patterns. So I see you very soon, actually next week, with another practice. And as I say, if you would like to shop a very beautiful handmade items, just check my Instagram account. I know that you might not trust, because I don't have an Etsy store. I used to have it, but I'm too busy right now, maybe in the future. But I can assure you that I'm extremely responsive in giving you the informations, and I'm extremely reliable, and my pieces are all original, handmade, one by one. Even the cards I don't print, I make them one by one, and they are very reasonable price. So remember to support art, local artists, buy original, buy smaller but meaningful gift for Christmas. And I wish you all a very good day, and I see you all very soon. Ciao a tutti!